Alright everyone, I think it's time for a quick little run through on Gruul, on all difficulties, normal through Mythic. Of course, just like before, the kill is filmed on Mythic, but I'll be talking about everything. And there's very little difference between the difficulties of Gruul. So starting with his most basic mechanic, the one you just saw, Inferno Slice, what happens is when he reaches 100 energy, he will do an Inferno Slice where he will cleave in front of him, dealing massive damage to his main target, and then splitting a very, very, very large amount of fire damage between everyone all the way out to the wall behind his target. So what you want to do is you want to have your tanks moving into the groups with Inferno Slice. The best way to do this is to have your off tank taunt the Inferno Slices into your groups. Now on normal and heroic, you're going to need 2 groups. On Mythic, you're going to want to run with 3 groups because he's going to Inferno Slice 50% more often. He gains 50% more energy per second on Mythic. All you have to do is have your off-tank stand with your ranged melee healers, the whole group together, each on each side, and just taunt the Inferno Slice into the group, wait till he reaches just about 100 energy, taunt, Inferno Slice, then the main tank who's tanking the boss right now, taunts it back. After 3 Inferno Slices, you're going to want to have your off-tank switch with your main tank, and then your main tank will be your off-tank taunting the slices into the group. So on normal heroic, you just go left, left, then right, right. And on Mythic, you do left, back, right, just over and over, taunting the Inferno Slices into the group. You need to swap out your tanks because it just leaves a stacking debuff that will do more and more fire damage with every single stack. And it actually will do a lot, so you want to swap at 3 stacks on the tanks. The main tank will be taking overwhelming blows, which will increase their damage taken, but really, that's not your swapping mechanism. That's just designed to make it so you can't solo tank this. Overwhelming blows also deals damage to anyone nearby, so the main tank has to stand away from the groups. Or else, you'll be taking 300k damage or whatever on every single player, which is not good at all, because it deals his melee damage to everyone underneath his hand. The next mechanic to talk about is the overhead smash. What happens is he'll pick a random direction, random player, and just go and smash the ground right there. Cone-shaped thing will appear. You're standing in it on normal, you take a lot of damage. Heroic, you'll probably almost die. On Mythic, you'll be instantly killed by the damage. And if you survive, you will be launched high up into the air. The farther you are away from Gruul, the higher you go. That's actually used for an achievement, but you only want to try that on normal because if you do it on any higher difficulty, the fall damage will kill you if the smash doesn't. Also, twice throughout the fight, he will enter a destructive rampage where he just continually casts overhead smash wherever he can target it. So you're just going to have to keep moving throughout that phase, maybe pop a fox. But really, it's a lot easier because there's no Inferno Slices going out. You just have to dodge this little, small, tight cone that goes all the way back to the wall. Just move a little bit to the left or right, and you're going to be just fine. He will also be spawning cave-ins around the room. If you stand in a cave-in, you'll take a lot of damage. Now on normal, it's probably only 50k per second, but it ups it to 150k on Mythic. So just stay out of the big, dusty circles, and if one gets dropped directly on your group, just find a way to reposition yourselves so you don't take that extra damage. You may have to go a little bit to the back or to the front of the boss, trying to stay out of the way of overwhelming blows, of course, just to reposition your group out of it. As far as normal and heroic go, there's only one last thing to talk about, that's petrifying slam. He'll jump up and slam the ground, and then 5 players will randomly get a debuff. It will be 5 random players on normal and heroic. And over time, they're going to get slower and slower. Eventually, they'll freeze in place, be stunned for a few seconds, and then when the stun ends, what's going to happen is they're going to deal damage to anyone near them, including each other, who also has the debuff. So you want to spread yourselves out if you get that debuff. On normal, you really can just stack. It does, no damage. But on heroic, you may want to spread out a little bit. On Mythic, you absolutely have to spread out, because on Mythic, it hits everyone. Not just 5 players, it hits everybody. Every single player will be affected with petrifying slam every single time he uses it. So periodically throughout the fight, the entire raid will be stunned on Mythic. So you just gotta watch out for that. Now that's everything for normal and heroic. And you don't have to worry about these fireballs because that's the final thing. That is Mythic only. These fireballs that I've been dodging throughout the fight, you don't see them on normal and heroic. You only see them on Mythic. What happens if you get hit by them, you take a little bit of damage, and what really is bad about it, the damage is nothing. What's really bad about it is that they put a debuff on you that increases your fire damage taken. If you get more than 1 stack of this debuff, you will likely be one-shot by the next Inferno Slice. In fact, if you have lower health than most people, or you've been damaged a little bit already by something, you can be instantly killed by an Inferno Slice with only 1 stack of the debuff from them. So just dodge these flares that randomly come out of the furnaces around the room and just shoot in a different direction. I think there's actually a pattern to them, but I haven't learned it. I find if you stand farther back in the room as a ranged, it's much easier to dodge them, and sometimes you don't even get one coming your way if you stand all the way in the very back, but that limits your sight because it pushes your camera forward because you're up against a wall, so then you might not move out of an overhead smash. So you gotta pick your position carefully, just get out of the way of these flares if you don't want to get one-shot by an Inferno Slice, because if someone in your group dies on Mythic, you will probably get everyone killed, because then you won't have enough to soak an Inferno Slice. Even if one person's dead, it could kill the entire group. Other than that, that's all it is for Gruul. Just moving those Inferno Slices, spread out with petrifying, get out of the way of the overhead smashes, don't get hit by flares. That's all. Thanks for watching.